What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy B with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So finally, strategy changed their name officially to Strategy Incorporated, as you can see here. Now it's legit, and TradingView also updated MicroStrategy to strategy on here as well. So that's pretty cool. I guess you guys are wondering like what the screen is showing. So we have the price action and the chart of MSTR on the left side. And then I have these market sentiment gauges I created using ChatGPT within like half an hour. So which is pretty cool. So I learned how to uh, create the prompt. It made a code. I put it into Notepad. I think it was a HTML code. And then you open it up into a browser, and this is what you see. So now I have a short-term gauge showing the market, what I believe would be the market sentiment in the short term, and what I believe in the long term. So you can, these are interactive. You can play with it depending on what the price action is showing me. There's also a disclaimer on the bottom. Number one, predictions are only as reliable as the data available, and data changes quickly. So obviously, for example, if we crash down to 320 and you're expecting a bounce, well, obviously, you need to change your prediction. All trading involves risk. Act at your own discretion. There are no guarantees or certainties in the market. So with that out of the way, let's begin the analysis. What happened Friday? Well, we did trade down lower towards the 360 level because in the short term, I believe the sentiment is bearish. It's not really bearish. It's not neutral anymore because we're below the trend line. So I would say it's pretty much bearish. So we're below the trend line. And then we have a measurement target in play towards 320. We are at support, but is that going to be able to reverse price? Probably not. So we'll see what happens. So as right now, I'd say the short-term structure is looking bearish. Before, if you just looked at this, if you saw this large move up, consolidation, and another large move up, it was looking pretty bullish. I wouldn't say it's extremely bullish, but it was looking pretty bullish that, we had a large move up, consolidation, and a breakout. But look what happened. It started failing. It started getting less and less bullish as time went on, less and less bullish. Now it's into bearish territory because we're breaking the trend line. We continue even lower, and then now we kind of went, it bounced, and we kind of went back up to sort of being not as bearish. Then we kind of traded down once again. So basically, I'd say it's bearish. It's probably going to go into extreme bearish if it starts breaking this 360 level, headed towards 323. So overall, I'd say this is a bearish looking structure in the short term because we had a large move up right here. This was not supposed to happen. We had a large move up, consolidate, breakout, and a breakout failed. So that was, if we failed, it would have been better to see a bounce of the trend line and then rally higher, but not drop down this much. And then we saw a lackluster bounce by the bulls, followed by more continued selling pressure. So I'd say obviously short term is bearish to me. Yes, we are at support, but we need to see a break of the trend line. We need to see price get back above the 420 level. Overall, it's like wasting time. I mean, it's almost the end of the month, halfway towards the month. So August is basically scratched out. Is it going to get up to 400? I mean, that might take at least a couple of days, couple of weeks to get up to 420s, 430s. So maybe by the end of the month, we're not even up here. So that's only like 4 months left in the year from there. So, I mean, seeing all-time high, it doesn't look likely as of right now anymore, right? Like I said before, number one, predictions are only as reliable as the data available. The data changes quickly. Before, it was looking really bullish. It was looking like it wanted to break out. And now, it's switched back to being bearish, right, in the short term. So that's why I see in the short term, basically, we have a downward sloping trend line. We're below the EMA. We have a measurement target in play, targeting like 320s, 321, low 320s. We're at support, but that's like one bullish thing on the chart. I don't see anything else in the short term as of right now. It can fail. Like I said before, it's not guaranteed we break down lower, but I'd say ball is in the bear's court. So the sentiment is still leaning bearish. So we'll see what happens. So with that bounce we got on Friday, it's not as bearish as it once was before that. So you can maybe increase the value slightly. So before the bounce was probably like right over here, and now you can increase it slightly. It's still in bearish territory. So it's overall, that's what I see on the daily chart. Looking at the weekly chart, we have to look at the drawings. We'll go to the log scale, weekly charts, and let's draw a trend line across. So you draw a trend line off the swing lows. We're still above the first trend line, the primary trend line, and this is the secondary trend line. So it's debatable if we already broke this or not. If we broke it, this could be we saw the back test and resumption down, which is not a good sign, which would mean that the long-term structure is also looking bearish. However, if it's slightly adjusted where it still fits, we're right at the trend line. So you can see that we're right at the trend line, even if you draw it really shallow or even starting to break it. So I'd say it's not looking as bullish as it once was, right? For example, if you only saw this, the long-term structure was pretty bullish. We're making higher highs, higher lows. But now it's starting to get into very little bullish territory, right? It's not as bullish as it once was. So if we were bullish here several months ago, now we're probably like right over here, potentially shifting into the neutral and even in the bearish territory. So bullishness is dying down, it looks like. It's not as strong. We were not able to surpass the 430s, 440s. Now we're selling off. So overall, it can change, but right now it's just slightly bullish. Now, when both are bearish and this is bearish, then it's probably game over. But as right now, I'd say the long-term structure is still bullish, even though the short-term structure that we're seeing right now is bearish. But the bearish price action in the short term can flip the long-term structure into bearish as well. So it's just dependent on what we see in the short term because that will react first. That will be the quicker data to go over. So let's see what happens. If we see continued selling from here, then that bearish indicator or the long-term indicator starts shifting, into the bearish territory and stuff. So right now, I'd say it's slightly bullish, not as bullish as it once was, but it's still bullish because it takes a lot more data to change this long-term gauge. But the short-term, changes, daily and weekly. So let's see what happens for MSTR. But you gotta always be open to different possibilities. So MSTR not looking as bullish as it once was, unfortunately. So it might just take longer to play out. $4,000 still stands. I believe this will be a $1 trillion market cap in the future. I was thinking it was this cycle, but obviously we've been chopping around for like several months, a lot longer than I expected. I thought maybe back in May we would see the move up higher, then it just got rejected. Then I thought, okay, maybe it'll reignite in June, and then we got a failed breakout, a marginal high. And now, see, what I'm saying? It keeps on going up, but it fails, and now it's just wasting time. The longer it takes to go up, the less and less bullish it gets, and the more bearish you'll get. So long-term still bullish, short-term bearish. So that's everything I want to see on the MSTR chart. Bitcoin, this is different. So in the short term, it was looking pretty bullish. I would say it was extremely bullish just right here, right? When that breakout happened, it was looking pretty good, and now it's just bullish. So I would say it's just bullish still. We're above the trend line. We're back in this consolidation pattern, this range pattern right above 117. So overall, this chart's still bullish, still have a measurement target in play. So short term, Bitcoin's still bullish. If we start breaking the trend line, we start going into bearish territory. So I'd say it's mostly bullish. And then long term is obviously still bullish as well. I'd say it's pretty far in the bullish category. Not extremely bullish. We haven't seen exponential moves, but it's in the bullish camp. So short term and long term looking pretty good still. And then the ratio between Bitcoin's price divided by MSTR price is 322, and you can see that we're right at resistance. So in the short term, it's kind of neutral, I would say, because we're right at a level where we can reverse, but at the same time, we're seeing upward momentum. So short term is neutral. Long term, it is bullish. So the structure is bullish long term. Why? Because we're seeing higher lows. And on the macro, if you go on the weekly, price has been descending lower in this wide channel. So you see how price is moving back and forth in this channel, which means that MSTR is outperforming Bitcoin over time. However, in the short term that we're seeing right now, since November of last year, we're seeing a pullback. We hit the bottom side of the channel, price is working its way to the top side. So right now we're seeing a pullback in this long-term structure. Just like over here was a pullback, over here was a pullback, and now we're seeing a pullback. So basically we saw MSTR at the best ratio back in November of last year. Now we're seeing a pullback. It looks like short-term it's neutral, meaning like it can go up or down. It's just hard to say what. But long-term, I'd say it's still bearish. So this trend is still in play. So most likely it can continue trending down lower. Not as bearish as it once was because we're pulling back, which means it can flip to being bullish, but bearish in the long term. So it still looks like it wants to continue dropping down long term, but neutral in the short term, and expecting it to probably flip to being bullish actually. So I would say it's probably right in between bullish and neutral in the short term. So I'll probably leave it right here. So I hope you guys like the new gauge. It's just basically showing what I think in my mind instead of like telling you guys. I think a visual representation of what's going on in the market is a little bit easier to analyze. But let me know if you guys like this, or if you guys want to get rid of it, or if you want to, we can update it as well. Whatever you want to change, we can change some stuff on here. But that's all I have for MSTR and Bitcoin, and the ratio between Bitcoin and MSTR. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.